The dark side of social media, the tragic murder of Bianca Devins. Social media has transformed our lives. It has created our separate virtual identities, which keep our true personalities concealed in a corner. This is the reason why everyone runs to social media refuge while battling depression and loneliness. Sometimes, this instantaneous escape from the real world takes an individual into a maze of dangers that are too difficult to avoid. Today's case is about one such teenager who wanted to run from the reality of her life by becoming a social media addict, but ended up being caught in a more horrendous situation that entangled her life. Welcome to AF Crime, the channel that brings you fascinating crimes all around the world. If you're interested in this kind of content, this channel is for you. Make sure to like this video, click on the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to keep you updated on our recent uploads. Now, let's get right into the video and investigate more about the tragic story of Bianca Devins, the 17-year-old teenager hailing from Utica, New York, who became a victim of dangerous online stalking and eventually ended up being murdered by her online mate. "17-year-old Bianca was naturally very sensitive. She couldn't see others suffer or be depressed, which is why she decided to choose psychology as her college major. It was partially because she had seen her own parents falling into the deep pits of depression, and that had impacted her mind very seriously. Throughout her teenage years, she battled with the episodic depression and anxiety. Quite often, her panic attacks became so severe that she had to spend the entire night in the hospital. She knew that her depression was eventually going to affect her mental state, so she decided to escape from the realistic side of this cruel world. During this time, her biggest coping strategy was to create online profiles on popular social media forums like Discord and Fortune. As she started interacting with others, she made many online friends, and she saw herself getting distracted from continuous periods of isolation and depression. Her social life was indeed turning out to be an anchor for her in times of need. Whenever she felt lost, she immediately shared and vented with her online friends without any fear of judgment. She also knew her deepest secrets and fears, so they appreciated her and kept the urge to fight against depression alive in her during this time. Eventually, due to the suggestions of some online friends and her personal interests, she decided to start an online Instagram blog of her own where she would be sharing her fashion choices and bits and pieces of her everyday life. Soon, she started a blog in the initial months of 2019 with the username @XD. Due to her unique fashion choices and a blend of astrology as well as fashion, her blog became a sensation. She immediately got a little fan following of her own, where she was loved by multiple users. Out of these many users who used to wait for her online posts, one was the user Yes Juliet, who started following Bianca in April 2019. The guy's real name was Brandon Andrew Clark and was a 21-year-old fitness enthusiast. The man seemed entirely smitten by young Bianca and commented on every single post of hers. Initially, Bianca thought that the guy was just another fan who liked her style, but soon she perceived that it was not at all. Brandon also used to leave occasional messages for her in the private messenger, which made Bianca realize that he was trying to get friendly with her. Bianca was a sweet-natured girl who couldn't perceive any ulterior motives, so she started talking to Brandon randomly. The two soon became friends, and Brandon confessed a number of times how he thought about Bianca. His attitude showed that he was getting highly possessive of her and became angry, even if she was in school and couldn't reply to his messages. Bianca felt that he was developing feelings regarding her, so she consulted with her mother, Kimberly Devins, and told her clearly that her focus was on her career, so she didn't want to date Brandon, who was trying to get more out of her than she was offering. Jested, Bianca talked through this with Brandon and clarified that with him. However, Brandon didn't step back. He rather started supplying Bianca with drugs, telling her that it would make her seem cool. The two officially started meeting, where Brandon would supply her with drugs and try to exploit her while she was high. Soon, Bianca realized where things were going, so she discussed this with one of her good friends from Discord, her buddy Shells. Perceived that Brandon was lusting after her and forbade her to meet him excessively. By now, Bianca was slowly getting addicted to the drugs, so it was hard for her not to meet Brandon. To restrain herself, on the 13th of July 2018, Brandon told Bianca to meet him at the Canadian singer Nicole Dollanganger's concert in New York. They planned to be there with another mutual friend named Alex. During the concert, Bianca kissed Alex, which didn't go well with Brandon, who was already very possessive about her. Right when they were driving back to Utica, both got into an argument where Brandon accused Bianca of cheating on him. This was a new revelation to Bianca, for she never knew that Brandon was romantically involved with her. She tried to clear her stance, but Brandon didn't give her the chance and started assaulting her with a knife, which he had kept all this time under his seat. Bianca tried to protect herself, but she was overpowered by Brandon, who was blinded by his emotions. So he slit her throat, and Bianca died on the spot in his car. This didn't satisfy Brandon's anger. He parked his car and started a bonfire where he spent some time listening to Test Drive by Joji. All this time, Bianca's lifeless body was lying in his car. He also smoked and got high. As he moved back to his car, he soon started calling his family members, where he hinted that he was going to kill himself. Right after making those calls, he started uploading images of gore on those Discord servers where Bianca had friends. He also posted the images and a video of Bianca's dead body on 4chan. His caption caught attention when he clearly wrote that, "Sorry fuckers, you're going to have to find somebody else to orbit." Now, if you know the internet slang, you might be familiar with the fact that orbit is considered wooing or trying to get the attention of someone who's famous. Shells also saw those images, and her mind quickly went to Bianca. She became extremely worried for her safety and tried calling her, but she wasn't picking up the calls. She was sure of the fact that the images were of Bianca. She was quick to notify the police about her. Several other calls were also made by users from 4chan and Discord who had seen Brandon's Instagram story, where he was seen driving and had written a caption that said, "Here comes hell, it's redemption," right? All the images were posted in the initial hours of the morning upon the tip of the users and calls from Brandon's family when the police arrived using the snap map info of Brandon's Snapchat stories. They found that Brandon had locked himself up in the car and threatened to kill himself by putting the knife on his throat. He further tried to end his life by slitting his throat, but was saved by the cops who arrested him with Bianca's body. At the same time, he posted some other pictures which were captioned, "May you never forget me." The forensics then began while Brandon was kept in custody. Brandon's mobile phone searches revealed that this was not done in the haste of the moment, but Brandon was planning this for some time because he had searched for carotid arteries finding tips. One major issue faced by the cops was Brandon's altering statements, where he initially confessed, but then stated that they were tried to be mugged. Eventually, he stated that he was high and it was an outcome of that. Sarah DeMilliere, who was the assistant district attorney of Oneida County, described it as the biggest hindrance to finding out the potential reason behind Bianca's murder. Later on, they recovered various nudes, videos, and sexually explicit exchanges between Bianca and Brandon, which made them release a statement that both shared an intimate relationship with each other. Though this was denied by Bianca's mother and close friends, who explained that there was no such thing from Bianca's end and he was exploiting Bianca for a long time. The biggest trouble emerged when the images of Bianca's dead body started getting viral on all the social platforms. In fact, the image where a slitted throat of Bianca was shown was shared almost 16,000 times over a day. Bianca's family and friends appealed to law enforcement agencies to take off the images. With the cops' assistance, Facebook and Instagram deactivated the IDs of both Bianca and Brandon, but a lot of damage had been done. More and more people were posting Bianca's images to get followers and likes, which raised many questions about maintaining ethics on social media platforms. Bianca's vigil was held on July 15th, and the funeral took place on July 19th. The Utica community supported the Devins family in their pursuit of justice, which was briefly hindered due to the impending pandemic, as Brandon had initially pleaded not guilty as he was taken into custody on July 29, 2019. Even during this jail time, he kept on telling them about why he had committed Bianca's murder, and recurrently said that she will remember him forever. On February 10, 2020, he finally pleaded guilty, but then accused his lawyer of incompetency. Finally, on March 16, 2021, he was declared guilty of second-degree murder and was also accused of spreading graphically disturbing content into the online community, so he was sentenced to 25 years of imprisonment. Later reports revealed that he was remorseful, but still believed that by doing this, he had achieved his purpose of making Bianca remember him in the final moments of her life. When psychological investigations were carried out, it was found that Brandon had seen his father keeping a knife at his mother's throat for long stretches of time. With this memory, when he grew up, his opinions about women were not very much liked by his peers, and he was also abusive towards many of his past girlfriends too. Bianca's family wanted to preserve her legacy, so on the 21st of September 2020, Bianca's mother collaborated with Congressman Anthony Brindisi to introduce the Bianca Law. The law stated that all those social media platforms which generated $10 million in monthly revenue and 100,000 monthly viewers were bound to remove violent and graphically disturbing content from the platforms, and for this they needed to create an official body. Bianca's family had done this after they sued the Oneida County on the charges that they were sharing images, videotapes, and many other crucial pieces of evidence from the office of the district attorney with the documentary producers who were making documentaries on this case. In 2022, the New York Assembly passed a renewed version of the Bianca Law, according to which any person posting, sharing, or publishing violent or disturbing content over social media platforms will be criminalized, and there will be penalties that they had to bear. This was done to spread graphically violent and disturbing content over social media platforms. Bianca is surely at a better place, but this case raises questions on the dark side of social media and questions our ethical responsibility as humans before anything else. What do you think about the legal bindings associated with the use of social media? Tell us what you think about this in the comments. Also, if you feel that this case was an intriguing one, like this video and share it with all your friends. Also, subscribe to our AF Crime channel for finding more shocking tales around the world. And if you have any criminal case that you'd like me to investigate, share it in the comment section below.